In March 1922, a farmer in rural Bavaria noticed something terrifying in the fresh snow outside his home. Footprints, leading from the woods directly to his farm. But here is the thing that made his blood run cold. There were no footprints leading back. Someone had walked in and never walked out. Andreas Gruber told his neighbors about the footprints. He also mentioned hearing footsteps in the attic at night, finding a newspaper in his home that nobody had bought, keys going missing. His previous maid had already quit 6 months earlier because she was convinced the house was haunted. Andreas refused to borrow a gun from his neighbor to protect his family. That decision would cost all of them their lives. On the evening of March 31st, 1922, someone lured Andreas, his wife, his daughter, and his 7-year-old granddaughter into the barn one by one and bludgeoned them to death with a farming pickaxe. Then they walked back into the house and killed the 2-year-old baby boy in his cot and the new maid Maria in her bed. Maria had only started working there that same day. Then something even more disturbing happened. The killer did not leave. Neighbors reported seeing smoke rising from the chimney for days. The livestock were fed, meals were cooked, the fires were kept burning. The bodies of 6 people lay rotting in the barn and the house while the killer lived among them completely undisturbed for 4 days. When neighbors finally checked on April 4th, they found all 6 bodies stacked and covered with hay, almost as if the killer had tidied up after himself. 7-year-old Cecilia had clumps of her own hair torn out in her hands. She had been alive long enough to witness everything. More than 100 suspects were questioned over the following decades. Nobody was ever charged. The farm was demolished in 1923. A small stone memorial stands where it once was, and to this day, nobody knows who walked out of those Bavarian woods in March 1922 or why.